Welcome to the Algebra I STAAR podcast. My name is Miss Clifton, and in today's episode, we are going to see how to write an equation for a quadratic function from the zeros. Stay tuned so I can show you. This is a question that we have for today. The solution of g of x are x equal -4 and x equals 4. Which quadratic function could represent g of x? And all of my answers are quadratic equations. What do we need to know? If we have the zeros of a quadratic function and they're given to us in this form, what we need to remember is that each one of my zeros, I have to make them equal to 0. In this case, with the -8, I have to add 8 on both sides. So, -8 plus 8, 0, and x plus 8, x plus 8. This is actually our first factor. So now we're going to do it to our second zero, x minus 4. We have to make it equal to 0, which means that I need to add 4 on both sides. X plus 4 is x plus 4, and -4 plus 4 is 0. So my second factor is x plus 4. Now I'm going to take both of my factors and multiply them. First x plus 8, and then x plus 4. X times x, x to the second power. Now x times 4 is 4x. 8 times x is positive 8x. And at last, 4 times 8 is 32. All that I have to do now is take each one of my answers, x squared plus 4x plus 8x plus 32, and write them all together. Once that we do that, we notice that it is possible that we have like terms. So I write my x squared because it'll stay the same, but then my 4x and my 8x can be combined into 12x. Then at last, I have my positive 32. And this will be my quadratic function. So the first thing that we need to remember is that we need to take 2 or both of our zeros. So in this case, one of my zeros is x equals -4. And then the other one is x equals 4. What we need to do with each one of them is make them equal to 0. This is how we get our factors. So in the first example, with -4, to make that 0, I have to add 4. And what I do to one side, I do to the other. So in this case, -4 and positive 4 can equal 0. And x plus 4 equals x plus 4. This means that my first factor is x plus 4. Then I have x equals 4. I have to make this 4 equal 0, and the only way that I can do that is by taking away 4. And what I do to one side, I do to the other. So now I have 4 minus 4, 0, and x minus 4 equals x minus 4, which tells me that my second factor will be x minus 4. So all I have to do now is draw my box to then put in my factors. My first factor is x plus 4, and my second one is x minus 4. Now I just start multiplying. First box, x times x equals x to the second power. Then I have x times -4. That'll be -4x. Next, 4 times x. That is positive 4x. And then at last, I have a 4 times -4. That is -16. All that we have left to do now is to write all of our answers. X to the second power minus 4x plus 4x minus 16. And here, we know that what we need to do is look for like terms like this too. X's and x's can be combined, they're like terms. So when it comes to my x to the second power, it'll stay the same. But then, what does -4 and +4 combine to? And that is 0. I don't have to write the 0. So I go and move on to the very next term, which is -16. -16. This is my quadratic function, which means that my answer is x to the second power minus 16d. What did we do today? Today, we wrote a quadratic equation by using the x-intercepts by, first, we turned the zeros into factors. Then, we multiply the two factors. Lastly, we combine like terms to find the quadratic equation. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned how to write a quadratic equation from its zeros. Until next time.